From the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to Just the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Morgan. With me today is my handsome and talented co-host, Joshua Shania Bevan.
Shania?
You don't impress me much.
Oh, no. Oh. Ow.
Oh, if you had feelings, that might hurt, but we know you're kidding right now.
True.
Yeah. We know you're joking. Right. What'd you think I was going to say? Let's go, girls, or whatever.
Yeah,
no. Don't impress me much.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the one you just said earlier next week.
Next week.
Yeah. It's on a theme. It's like art on a theme. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so this week's episode is brought to you by our wonderful friends at Graveline Tours. If you go to graveline.rip, and if you're in the Southern California area, and if you would like to take one of their amazing Graveline tours in a vintage funeral coach, then you will put Tipster40 in the promo code area and get 40% off of any tour you want to book. We are still holding high hopes for the Black Dahlia tour at the end of June. Let's hope we can do that. And
holding high hopes. Is there
yeah, we're hoping we can do it.
Is there a chance we're not good?
Well, it's been postponed and put
just
off
because of
yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe anything anymore.
Okay, fair.
So we'll do it at some point.
Okay, fair.
Hopefully before they solve it. Yeah. It's like
maybe we'll go just solve it.
Yeah, maybe we'll solve it, as it'll be so long before we can actually go. I got a message from a health drink company who is considering sponsoring us. So
when you say health drink company,
it's not Mountain Dew Kickstart, you son of a bitch. It's 5% fruit juice. It is a health drink. It has electrolytes. It is a health drink. No, it's not that. If it were Mountain Dew Kickstart, I would pay them. Yeah. I do
send
pay
a
them.
case. Send a free case. You're a sponsor for life.
Well, we'll be getting some samples, and you and I can try them. Okay. And if we're like real zippy and peppy, maybe they'll be a sponsor.
Okay.
Sweet. I'm not gonna say their name now, but I do like the name.
Okay.
So they approached me, and I was like, I'm not your girl. You know how I am.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm like, nah. But I do like supplements.
You play hard to get. Yeah.
No, I really don't.
Oh, you actually are hard to get.
No,
you're not just playing.
I'm just tired. It's all fine. Whatever. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, you'll hear about that. And if not, at least Joshua and I will sound much more awake.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to force him to take the supplements. So, Joshua, can you see how sparkly my eyelids are?
They are very sparkly. Yeah. And I actually noticed when I walked up, there were so many things happening as I walked up on you're sparkly. I got booped in the face by a bunny. By
a fake bunny.
Yeah. You handed me
some Jelly Belly jelly beans.
It was amazing. But this was all right in the middle of my gawking at your brand new car.
Oh, yeah, gawking. Thank you. So I got a new car yesterday. It was a bit of a journey. Some of the tipsters know, first time I've made kind of a big purchase like that without Mark. And I fretted for a while, and I bugged Joshua and asked him a bunch of questions and considered electric and hybrid. But I went with a good old, gas guzzler, and I'm fine with that. And, I don't care if everyone thinks I'm an asshole, whatever. So I really love the car. It's beautiful. I'm very excited. I sat in the parking lot of Logic's credit union for about 25 minutes crying, like, happy, sad tears, like bittersweet tears, beautiful. Because it was kind of a big deal to do something like this by myself. And I'm still, grateful to Mark for, and it was kind of fascinating. I didn't even want to drive her off out of the parking lot because I was, I don't know, like afraid I didn't deserve her or something. Wow. But so then I had seen a YouTube video about this amazing eyeshadow that is like called Duochrome, and it's like sparkly. And I went to Sephora to get it, and I should have known there was a problem because when I used the tester to test it, I touched it and everything squeezed, like not squeezed, shot out the bottom of the tube. The tube
Oh,
was
no.
like, and I was like, oh, you know what? It's been manhandled by people testing
got
it, right?
Somebody messed it up. Gotcha.
So I go find someone and I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I made a mess on the floor. And she's like, don't worry about it at all. And she cleaned it up and she was so sweet. So I bought one and it's, cellophane wrapped in a little box and stuff. And then I go out to my car and you know how your friend Melissa has like no ability to delay gratification. So I open it up and want to put it on in the car. And the top squeezed off, shot across my car, and the inside of my car is covered in glittery shit.
Oh no.
And I had on, I'm going to show Joshua the picture. I had on a coat and it got all over my coat, which is totally fine, a puffy coat. But I'd like to show you the picture of my, and please don't think this is me flirting with you, my left tit covered in glitter. Gosh. All over the inside of my car.
Oh, wow.
And this is, I guess my right tit was covered by my coat and my left tit, it went like all over on my shirt. All over my yoga pants, all over the inside of my car.
Oh my God.
So it's dripping off my hand. The lid went just like shot off.
Right. And it's, oh my God.
Yeah. So I
glittery chrome.
Duochrome. It's sparkly. Yeah. See how pretty? So it's off, dripping off my hand. So I have to open my door gingerly with my right hand, get out. I go back into, I'm dripping. And you can imagine in glittery gold. Oh, no. You can imagine the walk from the parking lot to Sephora. People are like, yeah, like what the fuck? So I get in there and I go, hi, I need help. I just bought the Danessa Myrick eyeshadow and it exploded all over my car I've had for 3 hours and just drove off the lot. I need help now. So they get like tissues with makeup remover to get it off my hands. And I don't know if you can see. It's still there.
Yeah,
see it on my hand.
You're still chromy.
That's my nickname. I'm still chromy. Okay, so I get a bunch of the thick paper towels they use for cleaning.
Okay.
With cleaner and makeup remover, and I go and I'm praying all the way back to my car.
Yeah.
Please God, let it come off. Please God, let it come off. So I'm I'm doing what I can. The sun's going down. I can't see. I get home and I'm like, okay, all right. Most of it came off, but there's still quite a bit. Right. So I go and it's all over this driver's side window and the whole front window on the inside.
Oh my God.
And it's kind of an oily, cause it's long lasting. Did I mention that? Long lasting eyeshadow? Yeah. Cause you can see it on my hand from last night and I've taken a shower and tried to get it off with makeup remover. Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, oh my God, I'm out there with handy wipe things or whatever they're called, like antibacterial wipes. Yeah. And Windex and microfiber towels. And I'm just trying, and it's getting darker and darker. I'm out there with a flashlight. So I have to look at it today, but I didn't want to show Joshua the inside of my car because he would think I had a stripper party.
Sure.
Because my car is all glittery as fuck right now.
And you did so discreetly. You're like, yeah, come on, let's record.
Yeah, let's record.
Let's record.
And then I'll show you. I'll show you later.
And I'm like, okay, but I'm
no,
excited.
No,
okay,
you
fine.
Can't look because it looks like a stripper lives there. A stripper lives in my car, in my glittery, pretty duochrome Danessa Myrick eyeshadow named Jules with a Z.
Jules.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's such a good name.
So anyway, that's my car story. Wait, there's more. So Lexus sends a representative. So I went through the auto specialist at Logix, a broker who you say, I want this, and I want this price, go find it. So he found it at Glendale Lexus. We have a Valencia Lexus here,
right?
But I hadn't even looked at Glendale. And there's one Sherman Oaks. There's one in Oxnard. I was, looking. I've been. Poor Joshua knows I've been whining to him for a couple weeks and asking his opinion, and because I don't know cars.
You were narrowing down. I mean, it's not a light decision to make. It's not like
it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
I think you were doing a great job.
Thank you.
You were getting exactly what you want.
Well, I was looking at newer used cars, and they were about the same price as this one, which is a 2024. And I didn't think I could afford a 2024.
Right.
So he found a 2024 about $4,000 under what I thought I was going to have to start at. Now, granted, we have 9.5% tax here, so, kind of about the same price, but it's good. It's fine. And I said any color but white. I hate white. And he found it in red.
Yeah.
So her name is Scarlett O'Cara.
Scarlett O'Cara.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. She's very much a Scarlett.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks like a Scarlett. So they send a representative from the Lexus dealer who drives it over. And when he brought it to me, she had 31 miles. I put 20 on her last night, driving around crying, trying to clean her off. He's explaining everything to me because it's like the difference in 8 years between my Cadillac and my Cadillac SUV and this SUV is like I was driving a Model T.
Oh,
and I now have a spaceship. Everything is done via an app. And
which we all know you love.
It was so much fun. Can I just tell you, I tell you what happened? Are you going to be surprised? No. Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? So Joshua actually reminded me, why the fuck are you looking at electric cars? Because you will kill it. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. Oh my fucking God. All right. What if I got a hybrid? Maybe I'd only half kill it. I decided to go with gas. Yeah. So I have not managed to use my powers for gas, but it didn't even dawn on me. An all electric car would have been a nightmare for me, a nightmare. Yeah. So it's all very much through the app. Right. And we tried to register me while sitting there at Logix. No. And it's really bad. I have no connection, no connectivity, and he's trying and trying. And I'm going to blame myself, user error. I know. And something went wrong. And then they said this number, you use your phone number and an email address. And he goes, it says this has already been used.
Your phone number had already been used?
Yeah, only because we had tried. He's like, shut your phone down, turn it back on. So I was like, is there any other way? Can I use a different email address? No, it's got to be a phone number. And I go, I have only one phone.
Yeah, everybody only has one.
I don't have a partner or a spouse that I can say, can I use your phone number until I can fix it? So I had to tried to use the car salesman's phone number. Wouldn't work because he has a Lexus.
Oh, because of course.
Yeah. So, and he didn't figure that out. So now we're on the third try and I'm using the broker's number. I'm like, Jeff, can I? And he's like, of course. So I use his number. I go, you don't have a Lexus or a Toyota, do you? And he goes, no, all my cars are old. I'm like, you're a broker.
What do you do?
You find new cars for everyone else and you drive like a Yugo on fire or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
Shoemaker shoes.
Yeah, exactly. So I used his number until we could go out in the car. And then the car salesman programmed everything for me. And then we had to change the number back to anyway, it was like an hour-long process. Wow. I just wanted to throw that in there. Yeah. But I have a new car and I love it.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Really good fucking job. I think I know it was a whole journey.
I called Joshua crying and from a parking lot in front of the other Logix. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Should I get electric? Look, they have really good rebates, but I don't know. And you're like, you an electric? oh, thank you.
I don't think I was that harsh.
No, you were not.
I think I just, you
just pointed out
debating electric and asking for different opinions about it. And I gave some different stuff. And then I said, by the way, you're you, remember?
Right. You gave me really great empirical evidence on why timing is important and why now may not be the perfect time to get an electric car. And then you brought it and I was like, oh shit, he's right.
I'm pretty sure I waited till the end and you had already decided, no.
You did. You absolutely did. You did an amazing job of talking me in off the electric ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am grateful.
And I think Toyota in general has really good, I don't even know what the name of it is, but they shut down part of the engine. So Toyota and Lexus, they have eco-friendly, whatever. I've forgot.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Well,
I know it's going to save me in gas, but it makes me feel like I can do the sport mode and I can kick it. I was going to say,
you can turn it off, right? Like,
but it's not like, there's two different things I can't wait to show you that I'm like, God damn it. How dare you?
But
impede my driving. I have to
but if
tell
you're
you,
worried about the environment at all, they
no,
okay, fine. Fucking keep it off. Then.
I'm leaving a huge carbon footprint
Yeah,
on
just
purpose.
yeah.
Joshua has ridden with me many, many times. I'm going to say this, and I think I can say this in all honesty. I have a bit of a lead foot.
I think I've noticed that.
As I look over and you're holding on to that handle.
We're good. Yeah, this one has a handle, right?
Yeah, it does. I checked. And I'm like, I must be driving fast. Joshua, who's not like a panicker, is holding on to the handle like with this like smile plastered on his face. And I'm like, uh-oh.
It's
Well,
fine. It's fine.
right.
Everything's
If you gotta
fine.
go, it's good you go with me, right? I mean, if today's the day.
That's it.
I will tell you, here's something I noticed. Shit doesn't fly around my car when I don't drive fast. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow.
I hit some things in the back and they stayed where they were.
They're just right there.
I know.
Okay.
That was crazy. Because I was afraid to drive her. I'm driving her like, I'm a church bus.
Yeah, well, it's 31 miles on the engine. You gotta break it in. Yeah.
So I was like, look, everything stayed where it was in the back seat. I haven't had that happen before. That's weird. I got home and was like, if I don't drive fast, shit doesn't fly around. How did I not make this connection before? So I'm sure at some point I will get more used to her and maybe drive a little fast, but I will try not to. She is a beautiful car and I want to take care of her. But
and
after time,
you're making her even more beautiful, giving her mascara and
and eyeshadow. Yeah, she's all sparkly. I did put the glittery stem covers on her tires.
I did notice that.
Yeah. And the shiny steering wheel cover. Yeah. And perhaps the sequin ring that goes around the start engine button.
See, so your makeup was
it's just an addition. Yeah.
Like, oh, I belong here.
Right. It's just, I'm going to explode all over the inside of the car. I didn't do those things till I got home. Yeah. The eyeshadow was the precursor.
Oh, okay.
So, God damn it. Anyway. All right. Thank you for listening to Car Talk with Josh and Melissa.
Not my brother. My brother.
But it's spelled with a K.
Oh, that's
Kartawk.
Talk.
Yeah. Car Talk with Joshua and Melissa. All right. So this case is a local Ohio case, and it has come to me several times over the years. And for some reason, I never wanted to cover it. I don't know why. I thought it was almost, I don't want to say too hot to handle, but kind of a hot potato. It's a case from 1996, but it's such a big, powerful, well-documented in many ways case in Ohio. And so many people are still really tied to this emotionally. And you're going to hear at the end a really beautiful sort of first-person account of someone who was very affected by it. And that is the person that I got her case from actually originally, and then several other people over the years have told me about it. And I went back to her and said, I'm now ready to cover the Carrie Culberson case. And I want to know if I can use your words because they're beautiful. And she said, of course, anytime. And it's been such a long time ago that she was using in this article, her maiden name, Heather Miller, but her name is Heather Hess. And she is married to our beloved Steve Hess, and they are two early supporters of the podcast, and they are incredible human beings, and they've raised a beautiful son named Aiden. And Steve and Heather are just beautiful, deep souls, and this case has weighed on Heather many, many years now. She is actually in the mental health field. She went to school, got further education, and her goal is to help in any way possible. And you'll be able to hear it in her words, why this case affected her so much. So I often wonder why one case over another captures our attention. And apparently I didn't even know in 1996, I'd moved here in 1992, California, I mean. I did not know in 1996 that this case got such national attention. Her parents even appeared on Oprah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that in 1996, that was big,
That's huge. Yeah.
very big. So this is a area about an hour, I'm going to say north of Cincinnati. It's Blanchester. And Blanchester, definitely back then, 20, what, 8 years ago, was even more rural than now. I'm sure it's built up, but there are areas around it that are, really lovely. A lot of farm area, but it's it was a place you would consider safe. There are a few areas around it that have recently become less safe because of the opioid addiction. But in 1996, this was an area you felt comfortable and safe raising your kids. You probably didn't lock your door at night. You knew who your neighbors were, but
Cool.
you had big properties, big, amount of space. And, this was not a place where, unfortunately, this case, I think another reason I didn't want to cover it is so fucking layered. It's so fucking layered. It's so fucking layered.
Mm.
There are probably, well, there's definitely more than one person involved, but one person, I am kind of blown away. Her boyfriend was convicted, and we still don't have her body or her car.
Oh,
Hiding a body, a little different. Hiding a Honda CRX.
an entire car is
Yep.
gone.
Yep.
Huh.
But you'll understand how that might have happened
Okay.
when I explain the story. So beautiful Carrie Culberson. She's, 22. She's really quite beautiful. Big, beautiful curly hair, and she was very much into makeup and cosmetology. Some reports say she was a nail technician at a salon. Some reports say she was like, studying to be a hairstylist, but
Okay.
just very, interested in fashion. And I mean, she's a beautiful, perfectly appropriate 22-year-old girl
Sure.
living her life, a good friend, a good daughter, a good sister, and probably a girlfriend who thought she might be able to change someone who was not worthy of her love.
Oh boy.
It's totally age appropriate. I was a 22-year-old
Sure.
who thought my love will save him.
Same.
How many times? How
Yeah.
many times did you think, hey, this person's fucked up, but if they only knew how
Yeah.
much I loved
I
them,
can. I can. All. I love so hard. I can fix. Yep.
right? And I'm just taking a stab here. This is just a theory, just a theory. I think you'll hear, as we get into the details, it might be true. My opinion is not. I'm not a doctor, but I think you'll hear age appropriate 22-year-old who thinks, I think I can fix this guy.
Sure.
I think she probably didn't tell. Sometimes people say when someone is murdered, someone snaps and it comes out of the blue. If Vincent Doan, her boyfriend, is the murderer, which I think it'd be pretty difficult to blame it on someone else, I do think he had help.
Okay.
You'll hear probably
All
way
right.
too much help. Um, it. I don't think he just snapped. I think he had expressed anger in the past, and I think he probably hurt her more times than she ever admitted it. The
Okay.
last time before she disappeared, I think was the straw, and she was going to report him for assault
Yeah.
and break up with him. And I think that may have been,
That was the catalyst. That
mm-hmm,
was the breaking point. Okay.
yeah. So here's beautiful Carrie Culberson. She's a very lively, beautiful girl, and she had gone out on August 29th of 1996 and was playing a softball game at a local field with some friends. Her boyfriend, Vincent Doan, showed up. They got into an argument, and I think he might have been someone who was going to take her home from the game. And then he got angry and peeled out, of the driveway, showing his anger.
Okay.
They got in a fight there.
All right. In front of a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he left, and someone else brought her home.
Okay.
Now, what we think happened is that she got in her car
Mm-hmm.
and her red Honda CRX and was going to Vincent's house because there is a report of a neighbor seeing her car
Okay.
in Vincent's driveway.
All right.
And they got into a fight in the front of the house, in the yard or their driveway. And a neighbor overheard Vincent Doan making threats to Carrie.
Okay.
And I want to say, I apologize. I said softball. It was volleyball. She was playing volleyball. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, that changes.
I'm fired.
Fine.
Yeah.
We just
Is Joshua scratching out the notes?
Volleyball.
Yeah, thank God you're here to keep me in line, because I would go so far afield. I got the word ball right.
Yeah.
That's all I got right. Everything else is wrong. No, I'm kidding. So they believe she was, dropped off at her house, got her car, went to Vincent's home. And this neighbor says, I heard him making threats to her at like 11:45 p.m. And then I saw Carrie's car back out of the driveway quickly and take off down the street with no headlights on.
Okay.
Now, her mother
right
notices.
Then.
Yep.
Okay, so
11:45.
Fight.
Mm-hmm.
Car drives away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A fight in the front yard after the fight at the volleyball field.
Right.
So her car pulls out of Vincent's driveway at 11:45, and then she's never heard from again. The next morning, her mom is like, well, I don't see her car or her. And her mother drives around town looking for her. It's a small area.
Okay.
It's a small area, So she's looking for, she's like, her car is so easy to find. I know I'll see her. So she then calls her husband, two of Carrie's friends who'd seen her the night before.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, where is she? I mean, they're driving around Blanchester, Highland County, trying to find her. Where is she? Did she get angry at Vincent and is she driving around trying to clear her head? And they cannot find her. So now they go to the police.
Okay, this is the morning. Okay.
Yeah, the next morning.
Right.
Here is another layer to this baklava story.
Okay.
The police were not especially in a hurry. She's 22. She's an adult.
And we're only talking about 8 hours later, 12 hours later, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all right. I'm going to not blame them yet. Like, right. It seems a little soon for them to get, like, I understand why the parents would be worried.
Right.
But, law enforcement is usually like, hey, give it 24, 48 or whatever before they get worried.
Right.
All right.
Except,
yeah,
the police in a small town, perhaps are friends with Vincent Doan's family.
Fair.
And his father owned a automobile salvage yard.
Okay. All right.
You know how to make a car disappear.
Yeah.
So, her family offers a $10,000 reward, and in 1996 money, they had to, sure. I know most of the Tip-Sters know how rewards happen. You don't just say, hey, I'll pay someone $1 million. You have to have the money liquid, put it in an escrow account that no one can touch.
Yeah.
It isn't easy.
Yeah.
It isn't, I know people that have tried. One person who has tried to, hey, offering $25,000. You're not sanctioned by the, you know what I mean?
Right.
it's bullshit. That angers me because it makes everyone else look
Sure.
shitty. And that's someone from my home state of Kentucky. But,
Mm.
I would love to name his name, but I won't. He's a car salesman, not the good kind. So,
Got it.
yeah. So it's a deal, and it's a big damn deal. So when your family scrapes together 10 grand to get any sort of information about where their daughter is, they have had to work. They've
Right.
had to work hard. The family goes on the Oprah Winfrey Show. They go on Inside Edition. They're interviewed on all sorts of different shows. And, nothing. And the police are just really kind of lagging behind.
Okay.
9 days after she's missing, there's a massive search with more than 300 volunteers. And that's one of the beautiful things about a small town. When your town has, 10,000 people and 300 of them show up to search for someone,
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's the beauty of a small town. She was looked for in empty buildings and forests and fields, and there was nothing.
Hmm.
At one point, someone says, "Hey, why don't you look at Vincent Doan's father's salvage yard?"
Sure.
And they go with dogs and they alert on a pond on the property.
Okay.
I guess it got late in the evening. So it was like, yeah, we're going to have to drain the pond, but we're going to leave tonight and we'll come back tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
Ask
Yeah.
me if anyone was there watching the pond. No.
Boy. You don't have one little like new guy
Right.
that you just
Nope.
sit there, make
Nope.
him wait the night out?
Uh-huh.
No. Oh,
Nope.
good. Okay.
So the next day, they drain and scour the pond. They find footprints on the bottom.
Hmm.
How do you find footprints on the bottom of a pond? They're pretty new,
They
right?
gotta be new, right?
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
The city and the Culberson family believes that the police gave Vincent Doan's father, Lawrence Baker, time to move her.
Okay.
Just a theory, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
A few days before Carrie went missing, she had finally told friends and her mother when she had to go to the hospital to get stitches. Vincent hit me in the head with a space heater
Oh my god.
and
With
knocked
a
me across.
space heater?
Can you imagine a
Jesus.
1996 space heater? It's
Yeah,
not like that little thing I have there.
It's
Like
I
a
was
big
thinking
square metal.
like a big 3-foot tall.
Well, maybe not that big, but yeah, like square metal
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
With the bands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Hit her in the head with it, knocked her across the room. She had to go get stitches.
Mm.
So she was going to file. She was like, I'm going to file assault charges. And I'm going to break up with them. I think that started at the volleyball game, continued at the house. Maybe she told him, I'm going to file assault charges, and he snapped and killed her.
Jeez.
Just a theory, even though he's been, convicted of a no-body case. Right.
Oh, okay. So, spoiler alert, he was convicted.
Oh, there's a lot more.
Okay. All right.
He was convicted in 1997.
Okay.
He was first indicted on 4 counts of assault, and then it was, yeah. So this is why it's so layered. It's so terribly layered. According to Carrie Culberson's mother, Vincent Doan, of course, the first person she calls when Carrie's missing, changed his story to her 3 times. No, that's not good, right?
Yeah.
Vincent Doan says, I did not. I told her the same story every time. He at first said that, she came to my house at like 11:30 and I came outside in a towel and she said, let's go drinking. And I told her, no, I had to go to work tomorrow.
Okay.
Right. Second story. Yeah. She showed up at my house and she came inside and we got in a fight and she left. She peeled out.
Okay.
I don't even know what the third story is, but I don't care
Right.
because I don't even know what's true anymore.
No.
So he is brought up on charges. I am remarkably proud of, I guess, the district attorney of Highland County, who got in 1996 a prosecution for a no body
Yeah,
case.
wow.
No body, no car.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think he thought if there's no body and no car, I can say
That's
she
it.
drove off.
Well, in the majority of cases, yeah.
Yeah, except for the history of his abuse.
Sure. I mean, I'm I'm impressed with this DA.
You and me both, because I don't know, honestly, I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
So in 1994, police officers receive an anonymous tip that Carrie is buried on Gerard Messer's property. Gerard
Okay.
Messer is a friend of Vincent Doan's.
Okay.
They had a super weird relationship. In 1996, Vincent shot Gerard in the back.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. Hold on. So, a person who has a connection to Vincent Doan, and I'm going to say his name probably wrong, Michael Fote. It's Fogt. I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
Michael Fote
Jeez.
shot Gerard Messer in the back in 1994. No charges were ever filed against Michael Fote for that shooting,
Okay.
but he has been convicted of killing two women and his two girlfriends, and is suspected of the missing case of another man who was an employee of his. So Gerard Messer, friends with Vincent Doan and Michael Fote, and in
So this
19
is they're friends. This is
oh
a
yes,
crew of these buddies, whatever.
yes,
Haha, shot in the back.
exactly.
Okay.
Oh, it was like, oh, it was a like a accident, or I was cleaning my gun.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
listening to Marvin Gaye and I was cleaning my gun, and shit happens.
It
I
happens.
can't. Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
let's get it on.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a tip that comes in that says, "Hey, there's a body buried under a concrete pad with a lean-to built on top of it on Gerard Messer's property
Okay.
in 2005." The police get this tip, and they go and dig it up, and there is a shirt and a scrunchie and some other things belonging to Carrie under this concrete pad.
Oh, jeez. Okay, clothes but no body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Super weird that
Huh.
Michael Fote has buried two women in his life under concrete in other parts of that area.
Yeah. Wow.
One, he had fathered a daughter who was living with his parents because her mother disappeared, and she was underneath the concrete pad on the property the entire time. Can you imagine growing up
Oh my God.
with your dad and his parents, your grandparents raising you, and your dad calls your missing mother's father and says, "Hey, have you heard from her? I heard she's in Columbus or Cleveland with some old man who's supplying her with drugs, and
Oh
she's
my God.
buried on his property under concrete the entire time."
Oh, jeez.
Now, there's a documentary, at least one, about Carrie's case, and they interview Michael Fote, and he is just exactly what you would imagine. And the uh, journalist says, "What happened that day that you killed your daughter's mother?" And he goes, "Well, I don't think it was different than any other day."
God. Oh my God.
Real slowly, like he goes, "We got into a fight and things, ensued, and I choked her to death."
Oh
Do
wow.
you need to get any more macabre than that?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's a charmer. He is definitely a charmer. I do have to add this caveat that Carrie Culberson's family ended up suing the city of Blanchester. I do believe they really fucked up this investigation, which is, heartbreaking. But they ended up with $3.7 million. That doesn't bring your daughter back. That does not bring your daughter
Jeez.
back. Right. So they have, of course, Carrie's registration, her license plate, everything. And, the car has never been found. I wonder where that could be. Hmm. Super weird, huh?
Hmm.
Super weird.
Okay.
Yeah. So Vincent Doan is convicted, and this was a pretty fascinating thing. He was sentenced to 888 years.
800. That's a lot of years
That's a lot of
for
years.
the one murder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they only think that Vincent has committed one. They don't
Mm,
know. I mean, Carrie's items being found on Gerard Messer's property is one thing. Michael Fote having, killed two women and being suspected of
right.
the missing, probably presumed dead of a young man named Shane who worked for him. They're calling him a serial killer. I guess you could say that at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess so. This is a good crew to be running around with.
Good people, good
Like
good people.
good solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bad picker. Don't pick better friends.
Yeah.
So this is I don't want to say this is some sort of karmic justice, because I don't know that I believe in that. But in 2013, there was a program in the prison, um, the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction offered a program much like they offered here. And we have interviewed John Grobman from Pause for Life,
Hmm.
where you train prisoners to train dogs.
Okay, so it's like that.
Mm-hmm. So Vincent Doan is participating in this, dog training program in prison. And he is attacked and bitten by a German Shepherd, and he lost a large chunk of his nose and a giant tear in his cheek.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Wow.
I know. I know. I probably shouldn't. I shouldn't smile, should
I
I? I should not be
mean,
smiling. I'm trying hard not to smile, but you can hear it in my
it's
voice, can't you?
it's
I'm trying not to smile.
there's a bit of instant
Yeah,
karma.
I
Yeah.
don't even know if I believe in that, but it was like, oh, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah, right.
So
Dog can tell.
yeah, I didn't want to say that either, but you're
Sure.
right. I mean, look, a lot of, I think, innocent people have been attacked by, there are good dogs and bad dogs,
Yeah, right.
but ah
Yeah.
okay. So here's my guess. He was like, hey, I tamed that bitch. I can tame this fucking boy dog.
Right. No. Yeah.
I tamed that bitch to death. So yeah. Anyway, he is an attorney. And his attorney said, these injuries have resulted in a permanent disfiguration of Vincent Doan's face, as well as scarring and nerve damage to his gums and fingers. Well, let me just say something to you, counselor. Vincent wasn't good looking to begin with. So it might have improved shit to have his nose removed and his cheek ripped
Oh
off.
boy.
Yeah, Carrie was so beautiful, and I don't
Really?
care how shitty I sound. He looks like a weird little troll. He has no eyebrows,
Huh.
so his eyes look sunken, and he'd like shaved his head. He already looked like a prisoner
Huh.
in pictures next to her.
Wow.
That's why I'm like, she thought she could make things better for him.
Okay.
Right.
See, I was picturing him being good looking, like
Nope.
being a bad boy.
Yes.
But at least he looks
Nope.
like James Dean,
Yeah,
whatever,
right.
right? But
He was a bad boy, and I don't understand. I don't I don't I think she was such a loving, giving person. Like everyone was like, she would, if you saw something of hers you like, she would just hand it to you. And I think she's that person who thought, you know what, here's this weirdo who likes me, and I can make things better for him. Right.
Okay. Bummer.
So Vincent doesn't get, money for his medical issues, because that's all covered by the taxpayer while
Sure.
he's in prison.
Yeah.
But the taxpayers also paid him $7,500
Okay.
because he participated in the program and the dog bit him.
But he chose to. Oh my God.
I know. I know. I love that this Kimball Perry said to the attorney, hey, what's going to happen to the money? His attorney, Jose Lopez, said, well, his injuries were very severe. That's a very good question, but I don't have the answer to it. So maybe he gives it to, his dad. Well, I think actually at this point I think there aren't that many people left alive.
Sure.
So his brother was convicted of tampering with evidence and obstruction of justice. He was released from prison in 2005. This dog bite happened in 2015. I think his father was indicted. I don't know if his father, Lawrence, was convicted, but I mean, he obviously had help, whether it was because of an inept, investigation from the PD who possibly knew his family,
Okay.
or whether it was his brother and his father. I think that's very, very, he obviously had help.
Yeah.
And I can't believe they even convicted his brother. I think that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. How do you convict someone of
And
tampering with evidence if
well,
there still is no evidence?
well,
Like that's
right. Well, I'll tell you.
like
Here's a
that
little
sounds really
story.
hard.
Right. No, here's a little story. Vincent appeared at his brother's house, Tracy Baker's house. Tracy's wife said that he was shoeless, had on jeans, and his chest was smeared with blood.
Okay.
So he took a shower at their house.
Okay.
And then he and her husband, Tracy, left the house together, Vincent's brother.
Okay.
Now, before he left, he said, because he was super smart, I never thought I'd see the person I love die in my arms.
Okay, wait. Tracy said that or
Vincent said
Vincent
that
said
to
that to
Tracy and Tracy's
Tracy's.
wife.
Okay.
And she testified. It's hearsay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tracy and Vincent disappeared for a while, which he probably helped. That's why I think he got,
Sure.
For tampering with evidence. His wife said in testimony in court that when he came back, there were blood droplets on his shoes.
Okay.
On her husband's shoes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is kind of amazing that this case got prosecuted. And I will also tell you, Vincent Doan appears on many Innocence Project, lists as someone who was wrongfully convicted. Not the Innocence Project, but there are many smaller, groups.
So he's still
Oh, yeah.
trying to.
He
I mean,
denies everything.
okay.
Deny, deny, deny.
Okay.
So he is on many, smaller groups, Innocence Project groups, in Ohio and other places. It's like, hey, and there's like a freevincentdoan.com website.
Okay.
So I don't know who is paying for that. Maybe that's where the $7,500 went to.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is, we don't
Maybe
know.
he's got other girlfriends.
He probably does.
No.
People who like the way Whoopi Goldberg and the Grinch look without eyebrows. Whoopi Goldberg and Grinch lovers write to Vincent Doan in prison. And people who don't mind you don't have a nose.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
That's fine.
He is.
You need a nose for.
Yeah, noses are for
It's
sissies.
overrated.
Right? Overrated. Yeah, noses are for sissies. So we're going to circle back to this beautifully written first-person account by Heather Miller Hess. And I do think it's incredibly beautiful. And I think you're going to get why this case is still important 28 years later. She wrote this in September of 2005. The first time I heard the name Carrie Culberson in August of 1996, I was in the throes of planning my first wedding. I was too distracted to feel the full impact of what was happening in small town Blanchester, but over the years, questions about what happened to her have haunted me. I began to take a bigger interest in the case once my own personal drama died down. and when the court case dominated the local media in 1997. I related to Carrie. She was only 3 weeks older than I am, and we graduated from the same high school the same year. She was into fashion and tanning and getting her nails done, and she fell for the wrong guy. She
Mhm.
loved her clunky Doc Martens, and everything in her life felt very familiar, as though we could have hung out in the same circles.
Mhm.
Luckily, we had some differences too, most notably that I've never been in a physically abusive relationship. Hearing Carrie's story made me realize how fortunate I am in that respect. Initially, I'd hoped that the runaway theory would prove true and Culberson would reappear at her home safe and sound. Once I started to hear the history of her relationship with Vincent Doan, however, I became less optimistic. When the trial began and the details of Culberson's last night were known, I knew she was dead. When Doan was convicted of her murder in June of 1997, I was overjoyed. I'm still overjoyed that he didn't get away with it, and I hope it sent a strong message to abusive assholes everywhere. Beat on a woman and you're going to jail. In April and May last year, I held my breath and prayed that Culberson's remains will be found underneath the concrete floor of a barn in Clinton County. The search began on April 30th and lasted for 2 weeks. Carrie wasn't found, but I hoped that the few items taken from the dig site would point the way to her location, but unfortunately, no one is any closer to finding her. Seeing the accounts in the newspaper of Culberson's mom and sister with looks of hope and anxiety on their faces gave me a terrible feeling of heaviness. For a moment, it was almost as though I could feel the burden they carry every day. Culberson has been missing for over 9 years. I've wondered from time to time why this case affects me as it does. The first time I read the chronology of events that led up to and after Culberson's disappearance, I couldn't help but sob quietly at the grisly details surrounding her death. The eyewitness account of Doan beating her in his front yard provides enough foreshadowing of the violence that ended her life. The eyewitness testimony of Lori Baker, that's his brother Tracy's wife,
Okay.
is what makes me nauseous, starting at around 3:45 a.m. Doan and his half-brother Tracy Baker left the residence with garbage bags and a gun, and they arrived back at the home at 6 a.m. covered in blood.
Jeez.
The thought, I can't get out of my head, what did they do to her? Was she dead by the time Vincent Doan arrived at his brother's house at 3:45, or was she just beaten unconscious? Even worse, was she beaten badly enough that she couldn't get help, but she was still alive and conscious? Did they dispose of her body or kill her after they returned a second time? I try not to dwell on the thoughts too long. It's too horrible to recreate the gruesome possibility of Carrie Culberson's last moments. I sometimes pass by the sand volleyball place where she spent her last night alive, playing a game with her friends. I can't drive past without thinking of her. I breathe a deep breath, and regardless of what's going on in my life, I'm grateful to be alive. Her spirit is a friendly one that reminds me that while her life ended at 22 and mine continues, she reminds me of the time I still have left. I hope at some point Culberson's remains will be found. Until that time, I pray for her family and hope that at some point someone's conscience will push them to let Culberson's family have the closure that they need. I hope that Culberson haunts those who know what happened to her.
Yeah. Wow.
That is from our beautiful tipster, Heather Hess. And that I
Beautiful.
thought was the best way to end this episode
Mhm.
because you get why it would be so meaningful to someone a similar age, things they liked in life together. They could have been friends if Carrie had been around,
Right.
allowed to live. And here you can hear, I mean, that's from 2005. So that is 19 years old.
Yeah.
And you can hear the compassion and empathy in Heather's writing. And
Yeah.
you understand why she,
Yeah.
went to work in the mental health field. She already had that in her,
Yeah.
that knowledge and that gift. And I pray that she talks to people and helps them not be Vincent Doan
Yeah. Good.
or helps them not be Carrie Culberson
Mhm.
or get help if they are.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you,
Beautiful.
Heather, for that. And I'm going to say this because I'm quite sure there are people alive who know. If you know anything about what happened to Carrie Culberson, who may or may not have been involved, what happened to her car, what happened to her being and her soul, please call the Clinton County Sheriff's Office at 937-382-1611. You can email them at ccso@clintonsheriff.com. I'm going to put that in the show notes so you can have that to look at again if you need a reminder. If you have a tip on a missing person or an unsolved homicide or just want to suggest a case, please give us a call at 832-TIPSTER. That's 832-847-7837. You can always email us at jttipsters@gmail.com. You can find us on any of the social media platforms, just the Tipsters Facebook page, at JT Tipsters on Instagram, at JT Tipsters Pod on Twitter, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.